Still on the checkpoint classified question. Please, I need you guys to subscribe. I need to hit 1,000. I've been working really hard. Still, I've not been able to reach that number. But please just subscribe if this video is quite useful to you. So here we're just going to go through a set of questions on photosynthesis and transporting plants. So photosynthesis and transporting plants. So quickly, the first question here is, here are some plants growing in a pot. So they are growing in a pot, potted plant. Now the plants are put in a cupboard with no light for a few days. It was put in a cupboard with no light for a few days. So what will they look like after being in the cupboard? Once it's in the cupboard, it will change color, like it will look something like a pale, it will have a pale yellow color. Now, because of lack of sunlight. Now the next question is, the plants are taken out of the cupboard, they put it in the light for a few days. What will the color look like? The color will change from pale yellow to green color because it's now photosynthesizing. Next, they say the plants are put back in the cupboard with no light for a few weeks. If there is no light in the cupboard, then it will not photosynthesize. What will happen to the plant for a few weeks in the cupboard? They will die. Simple. Now this question is, the box shows some part of a plant and their function. Draw a line from each part to match the function. Flowers are important because they contain the organs for reproduction. Leaf is the site where photosynthesis takes place, so leaf is for photosynthesis. Root, the root help in the absorption of water, while the stem help in the transport of water and minerals. So that's it. Now complete the word equation for photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is carbon dioxide plus water. We give you glucose and oxygen. That's it. Now they say Pierre and Carlos investigate how light affects plant growth. Now write down two factors they need to keep the same in their investigation when they want to investigate about light affect plant growth. And two major factors they need to keep the same is they need to keep the same the volume of water. So you can put volume of water because we are looking at plant growth. So factors that affect plant growth is water. We can also look at the temperature. Another factor that affects plant growth is you can add the type of soil. Now write down the factor they change. Now they are looking at investigate how light affects. So they're going to change the light intensity. Now what do they measure to get their result? So in this experiment, you can measure the mass of the plant, you can measure the size of the plant, you can measure the height of the plant, you can decide to measure height, the length. So anyone goes. The next question is, the diagram shows a flowering plant. So write part A and B, the name. This A is the leaf and B is the stem. So simple, this is the leaf and this stem. Now write down one function of the root. The root help in absorption of water and minerals. Another function of the root, it helps to feed the plant into the soil. Now, why does a plant like this produce flower? Now, cycle flower is used in pollination to attract insect. That's all. Next is complete the sentence. Use words from this list. Plants take in dash from the air. So plant taking carbon dioxide from the air. This process uses energy from sunlight and is called photosynthesis. Now, plant also take in substances like dash dash. They take in substances like nitrates. They can't take nitrogen. Nitrogen is a gas. So they take in nitrate through their roots. Yes, that's the mineral which they can use for to make which they can use for growth, because nitrate is used to make amino acid, and amino acid is it's a protein that is needed for growth. That's it. Next is question about a greenhouse. So matter grow tomato plants in her greenhouse. So we have two greenhouse glass tomato plant. Name the process plants use to make their own food. Is photosynthesis. Now, matter add more carbon dioxide gas into the greenhouse. Explain why. Why would there be more carbon dioxide? Because carbon dioxide is needed for photosynthesis to make more food. Because carbon dioxide is needed for photosynthesis to make more food. Now, Martha has two different greenhouses. After 2 weeks, she compares the size of the tomato plant in the two different greenhouses. Write down two things she could measure when she compared the size of the tomato plant in the greenhouse. Two things she could measure is the number of the tomato fruits produced by the plant, Another thing she could measure is the height of the plant may also help. So 2 weeks or the dry mass, whichever. Now this question is: a man has a garden center. He grows his plant in a glass house. Now he does this so that he can produce large healthy plants for sale. Now first, plant uses photosynthesis to grow. Complete water plus carbon dioxide is similar. The presence of chlorophyll and sunlight will give you glucose and oxygen. Now, the man has to create the best growing condition for his plant. He cleans the windows regularly and uses a paraffin heater to keep the air warm. The waste gas from the paraffin heater is circulated through the glass house. He waters the plant with a fertilizer which contains magnesium salt. Explain how each of these actions improve the rate of photosynthesis in his plant. Keeping the window clean. If you keep the window clean, it will allow more sunlight to pass through. Circulating the waste gas from the burnt paraffin through the greenhouse Circulating the waste gas, we make it, remember it's a waste gas, so a source of carbon dioxide. Source of carbon dioxide. Watering the plant with a fertilizer solution containing magnesium salt, that will help to provide minerals, and magnesium is needed to make chlorophyll for healthy growth and for photosynthesis. So provide minerals, and magnesium is needed to make chlorophyll. Is needed to make chlorophyll. Next is Collins put two identical trays containing soil and seed in the classroom. He gave each tray the same amount. He gave each tray the same amount of water every day. Now, one tray A was left beside a window in the light, and the other tray B in the dark cupboard. Both trays were at the same temperature. One tray A is in light, the other B is in a dark cupboard. Now, the diagram shows the young plant 2 weeks later. Write down two differences that can be seen between the plant in tray A and that of tray B. You find out that B is larger. That's one answer. Another major answer is B have paler leaves. So if you look at the leaves, this is darker, this is pale, because it's in the dark cupboard. B has paler leaf. That's all. Now tick two boxes to show the correct fact about light. Light is a form of energy. The correct fact about light is a form of energy. That's correct. Light is given out by the window. Light is the same as heat. The sun is a source of light. That's correct. The moon is a source of light. It only reflects light from the sun. Now, these plants need the soil to be at neutral pH. Write down the pH when the soil is neutral. It's 7. Now, Peter is a mountain climber. Now, Peter records the type of plant growing on one of his climb. Here are his results: a height above sea level and type of plant growing. Now, there are no tall trees growing at a height of 200 meters. Suggest why. Why there is no tall tree? That is because there is no enough minerals in the soil. There is no enough minerals in the soil. Now, there are no plants growing at a height above 400 meters. Suggest why. Now, at a height above 400 meters. Why? Because it is cold. It is too cold. That's it. The higher you go, the cooler it becomes. At that particular height. Some scientists think that changes in the Earth's atmosphere will allow crop like sugarcane to grow at a height of 700 meters. Explain why. Well, scientists think that because of global warming. That's it. Majorly because of global warming, which makes the earth temperature to rise also. Which makes the air temperature Right. Now, Hassan, investigate how light affects photosynthesis. So let's see how light affects photosynthesis. Now, here is the equipment he used. This is a lamp, beaker of water, blah, blah, blah. He counts the number of bubbles of gas the plant makes in 1 minute. He does this with the water plant at different distances from the lamp. Here's his result, different distances. Here's the result. Now, first question here is, draw a line graph and join the points with a curved line. The first three points have been plotted for you. So they've done these first three. Now we need 15, 20, and 10. So remember I said 15, 20, and 10. 15, 20, and 10. Am I not? Yeah, 15, 20, and 10. So at 20 degrees Celsius, we have 15. If this is 10 and you have 5 in between, so half here will give you 15. So 10, it should be 15. Then at 25 I have 20, 25 I have 20, and at 30 I have 10. So if I need to draw my line will be in this format. That's it. 3 marks. Now Hassan thinks one of the results may be wrong. Hassan thinks one of the results may be wrong. Now complete the sentence to explain how you can tell the result may be wrong. Now the result that may be wrong is the one for a distance of 25. Now this is because the number of bubbles produced increase instead of decreasing. So you say number of bubbles increase instead of decreasing. Now complete the conclusion. As the water plant is moved further away from the lamp, the amount of light on it, so you see, as it's moving away from the lamp, the number of bubbles produced decreases. So as the water plant is moved away from the lamp, the amount of light on it decrease. So this makes the rate of photosynthesis to also decrease. Next question is, a group of students investigate photosynthesis using pondweed. The diagram shows the equipment they use to investigate, okay? Now the first question is, write down the word equation for photosynthesis. You have water plus carbon dioxide will give you glucose and oxygen. Now the diagram shows the volume of gas they collect after 5 minutes. Write down the volume. So the volume of gas collected will be this one available in this empty space here, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the answer is 3. The volume of gas collected is 3. 5 minutes. Now the student wants to increase the volume of gas the pond will make in 5 minutes. The student used a drinking straw to bubble some of his breath into the water. So if you bubble your breath contains carbon dioxide. So the volume of the gas the pond will produce increase. Explain why. Because carbon dioxide is added. Is added through his breath. Now suggest and explain one other way the student could increase the volume of gas produced. This pond will make in Okay, sorry, makes in 5 minutes. So I think the answer there is they should move the lamp closer. Move the lamp closer to produce to make more light available. Uh, so to increase the rate of photosynthesis, there more gases will produce. Now the diagram shows a pupil investigating rate of photosynthesis. Now they add a measure of sodium hydrogen carbonate, which will help to provide carbon dioxide light, gas bubbles. These gas bubbles here that is produced is oxygen. So the gas bubbles produced during photosynthesis is termed oxygen, and you have a pondweed. Now, sodium hydrogen carbonate can be added to the water to increase the concentration of dissolved carbon dioxide. Now, a group of people added measures of sodium hydrogen carbonate to the water and counted the number of gas bubbles given off by the pondweed. The result is shown below. Okay. Now, they said plot a line graph using the result. Now, you first need to label your axis. The first one is usually your x, and this will be my y axis. So you copy everything here, and add it to your data column. So what I'll do now is, here I have number of measures of sodium hydrogen carbonate. So here will be my number. Please do not abbreviate in the exam. Number of measures of sodium hydrogen carbonate. Number of measures of sodium hydrogen carbonate. Always remember to include your unit. So here the unit can be, okay, they didn't even add it. So number of bubbles given off per minute. So here will be my number of bubbles given up per minute. So the next thing is your scale. For here, my maximum value is 7, so I have 0 to 7. So you just check 0, it is 0, 1, 2, 3. So I can make this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you look at my maximum value here is 40, so I have 5 to 40. So I can decide to say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Now it's for me to plot. At 0, I have 5. At 1, 10. At 0 is 5. At 1 is 10. At 2 is 20. At 3, 2 is 20. 3, sorry, is 20. There's no 2, so 3, 20, 4, 5, 30, and 7, 40. So I have to claim that of 20. So it is at 3, I have 20. At 5, I have 30. And at 7, I have 40. So it's a straight line graph. Now they say, how many bubbles would you expect to be given off per minute if the experiment was repeated at 4 measures of hydrogen carbonate? So you come at 4, you trace it to where it meets. So this is the line, 1, 2, so it joins here. So which value is that? 25. So you trace it to where it meets. So 25. Now, what do these results suggest about the composition of the water at the start of the experiment? Composition of water at the start of this experiment. It shows that the water already contains carbon dioxide. That's all. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here on photosynthesis. Next video, we're going to look at transport in plants, which is this part I'm scrolling down now, though there are some questions on. Okay, just look at part 2 aspect of this photosynthesis and transport in plants. It's quite bulky, and it comes out a lot, so it's very important if we understand each of the concept properly.